So, dear friends, we continue to follow the developments on the Ukrainian and Russian fronts and the news. And today the Ukrainian armed forces have once again pleased us with new successes in several areas. Before we begin, please check your subscription to the channel and be sure to click on the bell to receive notifications about new episodes. Today, almost every day, there is good news that you shouldn't miss. Let's start with the Zaporizhia direction. Here the Ukrainian armed forces have been confirmed to have advanced another 1 kilometer and 300 meters, and the village of Pyatikhatki is likely to be liberated, but there is no official report yet. And we can see that the Russians are already shelling this village to stop the further movement of the Ukrainian armed forces. Also, in the area of Orikhiv, Ukraine has started its advance, and the Ukrainian armed forces have already advanced to a depth of almost 6 kilometers. Therefore, we should expect news about newly liberated settlements in the near future. Also today it is reported that Rafael Grossi has arrived at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. According to Energoatom, he is to assess the consequences for the plant as a result of the Russian explosions of the Kakhovka power plant. There is also a great success in the Bakhmut direction today. As of today, we have confirmed that advance towards Verkhivka and Yagidne by about 3 kilometers. And the fighting is already taking place on the outskirts of the settlements. Russia is trying to stop the counteroffensive, but gradually Ukraine is advancing anyway. At the same time, the Russians are shelling Konstantinovka and Kramatorsk very heavily, and attacks on frontline settlements don't stop. In the Avdiivka direction, the situation has deteriorated dramatically. It seems that the occupants feel that they will soon come to an end and the Ukrainian armed forces will liberate Donetsk. So they have seriously increased the number of attacks on both frontline settlements and those in the rear. To the south, attacks continues in Marinka, but the Ukrainian armed forces essentially holding the line and the front line remains unchanged. In the Vuhledar direction, the press center for defense of the Tauride direction said that Ukrainian armed forces advanced 1 kilometer in the area of Vuhledar. The Ukrainian forces seem to have decided to push the Russians further away from the town and push them behind the Mykilsky pond. It is about 1 kilometer from the extreme front line, but we still need to wait for official confirmation. In the Kherson direction, there was even more shelling today. In addition to Kherson, Russians are shelling the entire front area. But yesterday it was reported that there was an explosion in Nova Kakhovka, which means that not only the Russians are shelling, but Ukraine is also striking. And in Crimea, things are not calm. Today, the Russian authorities announced that 9 drones were intercepted overnight. 6 of them were shot down and 3 were intercepted by radar. It is also reported that one of the downed drones detonated in the village of Dokuchaeva, Krasnogvardeysk district. There were no casualties, but several houses had their windows smashed. In the area of Dvorichna, Russia is still shelling the front line, but without any offensive actions. In the area of Svatove, there is also shelling, but no activity. But in the direction of Crimea, it is reported that the Russians are amassing a large number of manpower and equipment and may begin to break through.
Не змінювалося, але кожного дня ворог обстрілює наші позиції з мінометів, АГС, танки виїжджають, працюють, іноді авіація – це літаки. Зараз останній тиждень ворог не намагається підпалити наші позиції, ліс, так як наші позиції знаходяться у лісі. Місяць тому ворог була предприйнята змога, десь тиждень випалювали наш ліс. Тому на зараз є інформація, що на нашому напрямку ворог було підкріплення, десь 2 штурмові роти, тому ми і так завжди приведені в бойову готовність, але зараз більш пильно.
In the Siversky direction, offensive actions have begun in Vesele. The occupiers are trying to break through the fields and seize the landings and trenches, but the Ukrainian army is successfully holding the line and the front line remains unchanged. Shelling is also recorded along the entire front line, but in general the situation is under control. And if anyone thought that the counteroffensive began and ended immediately, I have some news for them. European countries have completed the training of 24,000 troops from the Ukrainian armed forces, as stated by the head of European diplomacy, Josep Borrell. And they were trained, of course, for counteroffensive actions. And I have to say, it's still just beginning. It is also reported that Poland has completed the construction of an electronic barrier on the border with Belarus. We are talking about 3,000 cameras, both conventional and thermal imaging, detection cables and much more. And of course a 5-meter fence made of steel beams and barbed wire. And as of today, the armed forces managed to destroy another 580 units of Russian manpower. Also today, the trial of 22 captured soldiers of the Azov regiment took place. They were captured in March 2022 while trying to cross a checkpoint on the outskirts of the city. That's all for now. Thank you for being with me. See you soon. Bye-bye.